Hello, fellow NASA HUNCH educators and students. My name is Miss Brittany Koger, and I'm going to be walking you through the investigation station for our Sprout house that goes along with our Plants in Space project. Okay, you should have already watched the introduction video and seen a lot about what our project is about. It's about growing plants in space, which is being done right now on the International Space Station. And they're using these, what they call pillows that help hold all of the soil and everything in. But we want to try to find a more efficient way. That NASA is always looking for different ways to do things in space and ways to do them a little bit cheaper. It costs a lot of money to send materials up into space. It costs $1.2 million per pound of material. So we don't want to be sending dirt and soil and things that weigh a lot up into space. So we're going to be looking at sponges today for this project, okay? So we're going to be making a sprout house. This is kind of like an engineering STEM challenge that you can do with your students, and this can be done K through 8th grade. Any grade level that goes over plant life cycles. This goes right along with the plant life cycles because we're going to be watching a plant grow from seed, okay? And our seeds today that we're going to be using are chia seeds, and these are easily found at your grocery stores, Walmart, or ordered offline. And they're relatively cheap, and they grow very well. Now, when I was a child, I had what was called a chia pet, and it was this little porcelain statue of a pet that you got to paint chia seeds on and watch it grow. And it grew and had a little hairstyle, or it looked like a little fluffy poodle. They were all kinds of different things back then, different cartoon characters and things like that as well. So we're kind of going to be doing that same concept, but we're going to be making some type of house or structure. And your house does not have to be exactly like mine. You could do just a teepee. You let your students be creative with this. Make their houses however they want. If they want more walls, you might have to use more sponges. But to do the one that I am doing today, you will need a couple of things. So, of course, you're going to need your chia seeds or alfalfa or wheat seeds. Anything that grows very quickly is what you're going to want there. And then you're going to need some sponges, at least 3. Okay, and notice these do not have a scrubby side. They are just a sponge all the way around. Why a sponge? Sponges hold water, okay, and they're very lightweight. If we were sending sponges to the International Space Station, we could probably send a lot of them because I can't even get a reading. When I put this sponge on my digital scale, I did not get a reading. When we were doing the weight and measurement, I did not get a reading on the sponge because it's so lightweight. It's very, very, very lightweight. So thinking of the lightweight and how it holds water, we want to see if a plant will be able to root and grow into a sponge. And we're going to be testing other materials later on as well to see which materials work other than dirt to grow plants in. But this is going to be a little fun investigation station for our sprout house. So like I said, you're going to need chia seeds, sponge. You're going to need a plate. Give all your students a plate because we're going to have water, the chia seeds. It's going to get a little messy. So be prepared for it to get a little messy. You're going to need several toothpicks. I think it takes like 10 toothpicks, and you're going to want rounded, good, sturdy toothpicks. You do not want very thin toothpicks. You want good, sturdy toothpicks for that. And then you're going to need a cup of water. I have 2 cups. This one is where I'm going to mix my chia seed in. You're going to need a spoon to scoop out your chia seeds there. And you're going to need some scissors to cut up our lovely sponges here. All right, so we're going to dive right into it. We're going to get started. I'm going to show you how I did this with my students step by step so you can follow along. All right, see what I am doing here. All right, so we're going to take our sponges and we're just going to cut them in half, directly in half. 1, 2, and 3. All right. So I am going to use my purple as my base. You can use whichever one you choose. Your students can kind of choose which ones they want. And I'm going to use my yellow ones for my walls. I cut that yellow a little bit off. All right, so one of my walls is going to be a little different. And we're going to use the toothpicks to put these together. All right. Let me get that back in there good. All right. Now let me get my other side. Same thing. We're going to stick the toothpicks in. Pushing them down through. And then you're going to have a base that kind of looks something like this, very similar to this. All right, so now I have my base done. I'm going to do my top. I'm going to use my blues for my top, and I'm going to go ahead and kind of line those up and put a toothpick through the top. Put a toothpick through the top to make your little roof. And if you don't like those sticking out, you can just clip those off with your scissors right there. And then we're just going to connect our roof into our sponge. All right, you're going to want 2 on each side. So we're going to 2. All right, and then 3 and 4. Good. All right. So make sure your little house is nice and connected there. All right. So now our next thing that we're going to have to do here is we're going to have to get our sponge wet. Okay. Before we can apply the chia seed to the sponge, we've got to get it wet. Now you can use your paintbrush and you can paint this on, or you can just pour this water onto your sponge. Make sure you're over your plate. Remember, a sponge is going to absorb a lot of that water, so we want to make sure this is nice and wet as we do this. All right, so now we're going to take our paintbrush. We're going to get our chia seed here, and I'm going to get a scoop or 2 in my cup that had a little bit of water, and we're going to put about 2 scoops in there. That's a good bit. All right, we're going to mix it up with our paintbrush here, and then we're going to try to scoop it on. All right, and I'm going to use this spoon here to scoop some of this back out, and then I'm going to spread it out, scoop it out a little bit. Yep, and notice I'm still pouring some of the water on there, but you want to get this nice and covered. You want it to be a nice, thick layer of chia seed up top there. All right, and that chia seed is going to start getting, as it gets wet, that's going to get everywhere, so be very careful with that and try not to make too much of a mess with that. All right, so now I'm just going to kind of spread it out using that paintbrush there and my finger, kind of spread and mush that out. All right. Oh no, one of my toothpicks came undone. Oh no, I'm dropping chia seed everywhere. All right, so this is going to take a few minutes to get this spread out and done correctly. Let's get another scoop here for this side. Like I said, you want a lot on there, so make sure you're getting a good bit of your chia seed on top of your house. You want to go inside the house, you want to go down the walls, whatever you want to do. If you have a different seeds, like if you had some alfalfa, some chia, some wheat, you could do different seeds on each part of the house. It's just whatever you have available to you. Chia seed is pretty cheap and relatively easy to find. I got mine at Walmart. It's a great value brand, and it is organic chia seed. All right, look at that. All right, so now your house should be full of chia seed. All right, good. Now, what's going to make this grow? Where do we have to put this to be able to make it grow? We're going to have to be able to put it in the sun somewhere. And then every single day, come back and do some investigating and do some data, record your data. What does it look like day 1, day 2? Day 3, if you can, take pictures, draw a picture, just do a quick little, what does it look like? How much has it grown? Use some rulers and measure how tall it's going to get. Now, chia does not get very tall. It kind of turns into like a little bush. So this is going to look like a little hobbit house. It's going to be very cute once we get it all built and together. And we're going to pour, I'm going to pour a little bit more water on here. Like I said, you want to make sure this is nice and moist and nice and wet. Every day, spritz it with a little water or pour a little bit of water over it. Make sure it is very wet. You want to make sure, that is the key here, is to make sure this stays wet as it grows, because that's the way it's going to be able to grow. And again, I have chia seeds everywhere. This kind of gets a little bit messy, so be very careful and enjoy the STEM challenge. I hope you have fun. I cannot wait to see what type of little house you make. I had some students have fun with these other sponges, and I'll show you what they did. It was kind of cute to see that they made a person out of theirs. They took these and they made little arms and legs and they put them together and they made little people, and they're trying to make little hair grow on their people. So have fun with this. Make as many things as you can. It does not have to be a house. It could be a teepee, a tent, and then you could make little sponge people and make little sponge pets and things to go along with it, and build and just have fun with it. Have a good time and record your data. Remember, that is what engineers and scientists do. They do experiments, they test things out, they record their data, and they use that data for their later information. And that's what we're going to do later on. We're going to see what is the best material to send up into space to grow plants in. So this is helping NASA with our future. It's looking into our future and helping our future in space travel. I hope you guys had fun with this station. I know I had a lot of fun with it, and so did my students. So I cannot wait to see what you have come up with, and I can't wait to see you at our next investigation station. Different materials that plants may grow in. All right, see you later, guys. Have a great day.